next one. So this one is it was quite tricky. As you can see, the price is just, you know, doing what it usually does, which is really confuse you. But the price really didn't hit our stop loss just yet. As you can see, it was chasing it. So let me just get the full screen. It was chasing our stop loss right there, right? Because I based my trade off this setup right here. So this the 4 hourly time frame. Let me go to the 2 hours. So let me just remove this, put it aside for now, and let me show you what was really happening. So okay, let me go to the hourly time frame. Okay, that's still not clear. Okay, 30 minutes. Cool. Okay, this we can work with. So you can see I never ended up like updating the setup, right? But the price was within these areas right here. So everything to the right hasn't formed yet. Um, so that's what I was working with. I noticed um we had our impulse to the downside right there. Well, I haven't showed you guys uh, the full setup. I just literally jumped straight into it. So let me just show you guys how, but you can really see everything is self-explanatory. You guys can really see that for yourself. As you can see, we had a double top and like a 4 hourly time frame, right? And our structure is the same concept, which is literally one touch, second touch right there, and the third one. And after the third one, which was our highest probability. Remember the market, once you start spotting these type of movements like the 1, 2, 3 touch uh principle on like your structure, whether it's like a descending correction, or in this case it's an ascending correction where it rejected back to the downside. So it really becomes very easy, and the market will always repeat itself. And yeah, so that was the reasons why I was looking for sales, because we have our double top on the 4 hourly time frame, and then the second top, the price got there in a correction, where you had your 1, 2, 3 touches on your resistance, right? And the third touch has the highest probability. You had your rejection right there and a huge impulse to the downside. So let's focus on that impulse to the downside. Um, so we can go back to the hourly time frame right there. It's cool. Let's work from that. Uh, Let me get rid of this drawing tool. So you can see you can actually the third touch, right? You could have used it for like a risk entry, but then obviously it's not entirely a risk entry because um there's still precautions that you need to take. So for an example, if you did want to sell uh, right there instead of right, right here, or so if you wanted to take the risk entry, which is not necessarily a risk entry in this case, let's go to the 30-minute time frame and just look at the behavior of the price right there, right? Let me get rid of this. Um, so you can see the price kind of formed like a double top right there again, right? Which was this one. followed by this one right here. So it's basically like a double top right there. Nothing hectic. So if you go to the 15-minute time frame to really look at it, um, even if it's choppy, but you can still consider this as like a double top right there, right? So I want to show you guys something interesting. So you can see, okay, cool. That would have been your trade right there, right? For a sell. The first trade or first entry you could have made is right there. And still you need to take the precautions. In this case, you need to look at the individual candlestick, right? I'll get back to that. So this, let me just delete it for now. So you can see you had your rejection right there. And the first bearish candlestick had pins on both ends, which means the market was still indecisive. But then the second pin had no, I mean, the second candlestick had no pin right there. It just opened and then went straight down according to the Heikin Ashi, because these charts are very different. If I open like a different chart, you might find there's like a huge wick right there. So this is just for me to um see like, okay, which candlestick has actual momentum or strength or whatever the case may be, with without all the noise. So I'll keep pointing that out because I feel like this hiking actually type of chart is literally the best thing, the best chart I've came across. Okay, you can see after the second one, you had a huge impulse to the downside. And then after the third one, no, after the second one, when the third one opens, that's when you sell. So you could have taken that trade right there. That was the first uh entry you could have had. And then maybe you could have also um drawn out the structure right there like this and trade the breakout of this as well if you missed that one. So you could have done that as well. Okay, cool. Let's go back and focus on the impulse, right? So if this video is very lengthy, just remember I'm really going into detail, um, because I want you guys to really understand. It's not literally just the setup. You need to focus on the candlesticks individually for you to like have confirmations and just to eliminate all the guesses or the what do you call this? Not just like just not being sure of what the market is gonna do. So that's cool. You had your huge impulse to the downside followed by a correction right there, right? hmm So okay, cool. So this was our first touch. This was our second touch. I was basically waiting for the third touch, but as you can see, the price just kind of like broke that resistance and shot up and then went back down. So I didn't adjust this because I think I was focused on other pairs because I don't really think most brokers have offer. I mean, they offer this um type of pair or whatever, right? Because I was like literally working on signals, sending out signals, and so I knew most people use like local brokers and they might have difficulties trading like uh certain pairs such as the DXY, or they might even have it but have like ridiculous spreads. Like your spreads are killing local, they're killing us, these local brokers. Oh my God, bro. Like you can so but it's cool, it's cool. I'm not trying to promote or um talk bad about any brokers, so that's fine. So you can see the first touch right there, second touch, and this was basically our third touch. Let me just highlight it. So this was basically our third touch right there. And once again, dude, like if you're not trading according to like despite the setup, you need to understand what candlesticks tell you, bro. Like I'm telling you. So you can see in this case, you had a nice breakout right there to the upside. Most people were like, yo, damn, screw that bearish setup. I'm buying, bro. This candlestick is a buy. So people were like basically, you know, and okay, fine. You would think it's like, okay, cool, it's going back down for like a retest, then going back up. And you brace yourself for a buy. You're there entering. Hey, full margin, full margin. Time, dude, that's just like a false breakout. It's literally a false breakout. This is what we call a false breakout, right? As you can see, the price went back inside our structure perfectly. So remember when we enter, right? When we enter, you wait for, in this case where it's a sell, right? You wait for like a few selling candlesticks that will tell you, okay, well, it's time, like sell, it's time, right? So we had the price rejected, and then the next bullish candlestick was like, oh, ish, I don't have momentum. As you can see, the let me zoom in because I know most of y'all are gonna watch this on your phones, bruh. Like, I know. Just try to watch this on TV. For those who have like smart TVs, your laptops is cool, but your phone is like, yo, bruh, I have to zoom in all the way for you guys to see. Okay, that's cool, right? So you can see this the pin I'm talking about, right? The wick. This is what I'm talking about. So you can see this one, it didn't have, so this had like nice momentum, right? So okay, cool. And then the next candlestick was a bearish candlestick. It's in a sell setup. We just want to see bearish candlesticks where we're about to place our trades, right? So cool. We had the first one. It had no wick, nothing. Like it just opened and went to the downside, according to the Heiken Ashi chart, right? Because there by your brokers, you probably have a spread right here that's literally by those levels right here, right? Okay, cool. Um, Fine. And then we wait for the next one. And then the next one, same story, guys, same story. No wick, no wick, no pin, nothing. It just opened and sold off. Okay, cool. So what we do next is we open the third selling candlestick. We are catching it. So this is literally um where we enter, right? So let me just zoom out so you can see the scale of this setup. So that's where we enter. So look at what happens right after. Remember, third touch of this structure right here, third touch, and that is the highest probability, and it keeps proving it keeps proving us wrong. Like, okay, cool, bruh. I'm always gonna behave the same way. Like the market, that's the market literally telling you, like, dude, you 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 got me, right? You know my trick. That's literally what I do, literally every single time. The third touch, it's where I'm vulnerable. It's where like you can easily catch your W's. That's where you can catch all those profits, right? So always wait for the third touch when you your setup. Like, bro, there's nothing like, bro, it's a blessing, trust me, right? It's okay, cool. And you don't need to be greedy with the market, holding for centuries, waiting for like yo, bruh, you need to get out as soon as you lock in your profits. That's when you get out. So usually the previous low in a case of a sell, that's where you're out, right? So you wouldn't use the previous low of your setup of your entry setup, right? So usually you would wait for um you would look at the previous market where like the build up to this, right? So usually this is the previous low right there, which is literally at the same level as this point, right? So you could have used that as your TP1 for those who trade or open like a lot of entries, but then use small lot sizes like myself. That will be TP1, and then you look at the next or the previous, because it can't be next. This is the next one, so it's the previous. It's crazy. So yeah, that's the previous one, right? Which is around these areas. So as you can see, that's TP2 or the final TP, because going beyond this, now you're just being super greedy, bro. Like, get out of the market. It's done, dog. It's good, right? But it doesn't necessarily mean the price won't get there. No, like it just means now you're gonna be holding for a whole month, nigga. Like, right? Cool. So yeah, that was the setup. As you can see, right after the TP2, the price just bounced back up. But then it's cool if you're like not sweating it, if you're like trying to hold for like a month. If you're that type of dude, if you're that type of guy who's trying to hold like a whole month, it's like cool, bro. Like if the price went back up, you're not sweating, you're not panicking, you're just chilling, right? So cool, the price is still going back down to um right, it's cool. So that was DXY. It was quite messy, as you